to make it to be a superstar band, Van Halen, for example, to be Metallica. If it was just a crapshoot, then then we'd have some stinkers in there. We'd have some.
We have,
but they're not superstars. They're not superstars. To make $1 million to be because you have a different taste for music than I do, even.
Sure,
right?
We all do. But
so there's some shit bands out there, and they've made their modest amount of income. Look, what's the guy Ridgely from Wham? Andrew Ridgely. I always want to say Anthony.
Andrew.
So why Andrew Ridgely was moderately talented. What's his other name?
George Michael
was
considerably talented.
Considerably more talented. Handsome as the day is long.
Incredibly handsome, yes.
And there's a reason why he made more money than Andrew Ridgely. Right. Because he had more talent. It wasn't by chance or luck.
No, well, okay. I mean, obviously there's a lot of talented people out there who were going to get found somehow because they're really, really talented.
A little bit.
But my point is there's a lot of talented people who don't get found. There's a lot of mediocre people who somehow, because they've got a stylist or a publicist or whatever who made them famous, you were just kind of saying that. We're going to get into it about, and Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
So, and everybody debates what talent is. My point is there's so many artists, whether it's a band or a singer or a model or an actor, that are really good. Like the fraction of 1% become famous. So granted, I think most of the people who get famous they work hard, right? There's very few people who are lazy pieces of shit who happen to get famous.
Those that can sustain their fame.
But it's still luck. And I think most of them would admit that. I got lucky. There's plenty of talented artists who didn't get found.
I think there's certainly examples of talented people who never get discovered, but it's not luck. They didn't have the drive. They didn't keep driving forward, and they didn't keep auditioning. They gave up at some point.
Yeah.
And they said, you know what, this isn't for me. I don't want to fucking get denied ever again.
But there's really talented bands or actors who get found after their first demo came out.
Sure.
And they get signed to whatever, and next thing you know, they're huge. I mean,
they can still fuck that up by making bad decisions.
But if that took 10 years, then they might quit or move on or whatever, and you wouldn't fault them for doing it.
No, but I think I'm kind of proving my point.
They got lucky because there's plenty of phenomenal bands that don't get found.
How's that phrase go? It's like that success is opportunity and luck, and how it's the concoction of all those things, right? So yeah, there's an element of luck in everything. There's an element of luck in what you do for a living,
right?
And the fact that you can support your family with your job. There's an element of luck. You found that job when you were looking for a job.
Yeah.
There's also an opportunity that presented itself, and you seized that opportunity. You took the initiative. You were able to sell yourself to that employer and say, "Hey, I think I'm the right person for this job." So the same thing goes for Kajagoogoo. Okay. Too Shy from the 80s, right?
Okay.
Too shy, hush. Yeah. So Kajagoogoo.
Eye to eye.
Yeah. So one hit wonder. They got rich for a hot minute, right? They were rich, but they got lucky. They had an opportunity. They had the song. They went out there and seized it. They couldn't follow through with it. They couldn't keep answering that bell. And and that's the difference between the Van Halens, the Metallicas, the AC/DCs, the
Journey,
the
Eagles.
I mean, think of the band, these the Rolling Stones,
the
Eagles, Paul McCartney. Just the fact that these people keep going out there and trying to grab the ring. Billy Joel is another great
the
one,
bands
too.
and artists that have been out there forever doing their thing. Yes, they're talented, and I think the thing is they got lucky at the beginning. They got their chance, and now they showed it. And as long as they keep doing their thing, they're going to be fine for decades.
Sure.
But what if Billy Joel never got heard in that first lounge or whatever, and he had to go get a job somewhere else?
It's about. So he got lucky that he got discovered. Let's go on that limb, right? That Billy Joel got lucky that some A&R guy
lucky that Billy Joel got discovered.
Some A&R guy in 1970 heard Billy Joel sing in a club somewhere. Billy Joel.
I love that A&R.
Kept going. I don't know what it stands for, though. Artists in recording. What does it stand for?
Oh, man. I used to know. I forget. It's not recording.
I just know they're called. That's what Simon Cowell is, an A&R guy. But so anyway, so some guy goes and he hears Billy. But is it luck that Billy just happened to be playing at that club, or was it hard work by Billy to keep fucking showing up to that club and putting his his music out there?
There's a ton of other good artists who can sing better than Billy Joel and play piano really good who don't don't get found, and then they have to move on with life.
Well, maybe so. Maybe so, but
and
that
actors
is, but
and
that
whatever.
is not that doesn't mean that Billy was just lucky. That means that Billy had the intestinal fortitude to keep fucking grinding it out, and that Joe Schmo, that may be a better pianist, or that may be a better singer, or maybe a better songwriter,
or maybe
he just didn't have the balls to keep showing up to the club every night.
There's plenty of shitty artists out there who get lucky and get found.
Yeah, but let's stop using Billy Joel because
Billy Joel. We did say he was an asshole. Did you hear that part?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. We won't discuss it.
But you probably agree with me, though. A little bit.
No, I like to just pretend that he's the on-stage personality that I've seen at every one of his concerts.
I wish he wasn't, but
because he's so real seeming when he's here,
He's extremely talented, and I'll give him all the credit.
And he goes, to me, the fact that he hasn't had a need to record any new music in so many years, and he continues to sell out venues for concerts. Yeah. That speaks
Madison
volumes.
Square Garden on a recurring basis. Yeah,
that speaks volumes in regards to his talent and the fact that his talent has withstood the test. So
didn't Springsteen do the same thing with Madison Square Garden, where he was like he did a recurring thing?
I feel
think.
like it.
Mm-hmm.
If not, he should. I think he could do that all day long. He could do that for a few years, every Saturday with Bruce and the E Street Band.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to start this episode.
We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we never kicked it off. And we're back.
Do the thing.
I feel like I might be. I feel like she got me
coming
sick.
down with something.
I feel like I got a little. I feel like I got a little Casey Kasem in my voice.
It's the bush
Keep
light.
your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
Jesus.
Yeah, you fucking walked all over it. That sounded pretty good. That was a pretty good impersonation. And you fucking stepped all over it. Can you isolate that for me?
I can mute her, yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Fuck you.
Turn her right down.
All right, let's do this.
Unless it sounds like shit, and then keep her in and let me. Yeah, all right, Crunchy.
Corn nuts.
All right, Corn Nut.
Hang on.
So, a lot of radio shows, they have that alter ego character that's just like it's a fictional person, right? Not Bob and Tom. What was it? Bubba the Love Sponge had that fucking redneck asshole. What the hell was his name? God damn it. It was killing me. You're going to create a Cletus the slack-jawed yokel type of character. We're going to call her Corn Nuts. Corn Nut, the redneck gal.
I don't know how. Okay, I have to work on the character. I need to know her backstory. I need to know where she was born.
Well, she was born in a cornfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hyenas delivered her.
All right.
And
hyenas.
Yeah.
I feel like you went the wrong turn there. Yeah.
Where's she from? The Outback?
How about coyotes?
Okay, fine, whatever. Coyotes.
Jingle stole my baby.
So delivered by coyotes, and they chewed the umbilical cord and all the afterbirth off of her, licked her clean. Mama stumbled back to the barn, and and then now you got Corn Nut hanging out with the fucking coyotes in the field, and she lived as a coyote
she
baby.
She was raised by
coyotes.
So I'm like Mowgli.
There you go.
Sure. But I feel like that's
not... I feel like the story's already been told,
maybe,
right?
but I feel... Well, I was just going for a voice. You wanted a backstory. I just wanted you to talk funny.
I need to know her history.
We've gone down a path.
All right, we're 9 minutes into outtakes. So.
Okay. Because I don't even know what she sounds like yet. I got to work on that.
I think she sounds a little bit like... what's his... In Vegas Vacation, Randy Quaid's daughter, the one that's a stripper. Mm-hmm. That's what she sounds like. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Daddy said no. Actually, original Vacation. Whenever they're out there playing with the worms and what'd she say? Something like, do you make out with boys? Daddy says I'm really good at it.
Ew.
Something like that, right? Isn't that the line?
Yeah. Daddy says I'm really good at it.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
All right, do the thing. Do the thing.
Do you know the Christmas Vacation?
Stop talking.
Do you know the Christmas Vacation was by a John Hughes movie?
Yes.
Did we go through this already?
I think we talked about that, but I don't think I knew that.
There's another John Hughes movie that I learned the other night. She's having a baby. I had no idea that it was a John Hughes movie.
And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, too.
I knew that one
was.
was.
Recently.
Yeah. Okay, go.
We are back for another half-loaded episode of Get a Load of This. Ryan won't stop talking.
He was waiting for me to interrupt.
I really was.
Yeah.
And I'm Jared.
I'm Ryan.
Rebecca's with us once again. Crunching on corn nuts.
I'm Rebecca.
Corn nuts here.
Oh, corn nut here.
Yeah.
Ate me some corn nuts.
We promised not to do anything like the last half-loaded episode, which was ridiculous.
No, we're going to...
I wasn't here. I cannot be held accountable.
Yeah, we need supervision, which is a good thing you're here.
It's okay. We're drinking Lowly Busch Light this time, and
it's delicious.
It is good.
Delicious.
It's nice and cold.
We might need. I'm drinking more than you. I need to go buy you a 30 pack.
Well, you know, it's the people with blue eyes.
It tends
remember?
to happen. Yeah, they tend to abuse
really
alcohol.
thirsty. Just parched.
Now, a lot of our outtakes, which you will hear later, where we're talking about bands and artists and whatever.
Actually, they've already heard them because they were in the last episode, I think. Right?
No, I think what we need to talk about, though, and
we really want to get back to this
Billie Eilish
Van Halen controversy.
Billie Eilish.
Controversy. Like,
yeah, I don't know about that, but
let me say my little bit, because then he's going to go on his tear.
Yep. Well, hold on.
I just feel like...
Give us the background, because I didn't even know what you guys were talking about. So, and don't let Ryan do it, because he'll talk forever.
No.
What happened?
What the fuck?
No. So, Billie Eilish was on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes.
Jimmy Kimmel. And
I'm only
I need
allowed
him a
one
little
word
bit.
Kimmel?
Kimmel.
You need him? Okay.
No, I need him.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'll help you.
I didn't...
I'm only allowed a word at a
Okay.
time.
Just keep it brief.
Yes.
He asked her if she had ever heard of random bands, and Van Halen happened to be one of them.
Okay.
And she answered with something like, who?
Right. Who's Van Halen?
So, of course, the Twitter sphere lit up.
Right.
Now, he also asked her about Cabbage Patch Kids.
Right, and she didn't
said,
know
what?
about that. But
right.
So,
and some other stuff.
Right. So, this is my understanding, my brief synopsis. On one side of the spectrum,
gotcha.
You've got supporters saying, she's only 17. How the heck do you expect her to know these things? Blah, blah, blah. And then you've got the other side saying, you know, what kind of real artist doesn't know who Van Halen is or whatever. Then you've got Wolfgang Van Halen, who in my opinion just got like the biggest gold star for saying what he said, which basically was, listen, you know, I think she's great. If she's never heard Van Halen, she needs to listen to him because we're pretty great too. We're here to support one another. Let's not cut each other down and let's move on. And I think that was a really, really good way for him.
The exact right thing to say.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it didn't stop at that. So you've still got people wanting to either lift her up higher than she needs to be for being 17 and not knowing who the fuck Van Halen is, which is a sin.
Yeah.
Or,
so I think you and Ryan both took the perspective of like, what the fuck? How do you not know who Van Halen is? Of course you know, you're just being a little
Kind of.
A little bit of that. I don't
saying,
doubt that she doesn't know who they are.
I'm not judging the fact that she doesn't. My problem, if any, which I don't know that I really have a problem, but my only thing would be, instead of judging her and saying, how the hell do you not know who Van Halen is? Because like you said, guarantee she's heard a song. Right. She just doesn't know that that's who it is.
That song was Van Halen.
And if she doesn't have anybody in her life, her parents, siblings, whatever it is, that exposed her to that, well, maybe she doesn't.
That's where I think it's entirely possible that she's never heard the word Van Halen before.
But I think but she's heard a song.
But she's heard a song.
Probably.
She just doesn't know it's
but
Van
even
Halen.
That, I mean, Van Halen is not played everywhere you go
Kinda
anymore.
is.
Yeah, it kind of is. If you've been to a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game, if you've been to a high school basketball game,
it's all current hip hop stuff.
Maybe so. Maybe maybe I'm completely out of touch on this. It very well may be.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless,
I don't know.
Here, I got.
She's probably not going to a lot of high school football
very true.
games.
She's a bit of a different being.
Little counterculture.
Yeah, sure.
Now, on the flip side, you weren't entirely sure who Billie Eilish was.
I've heard of her though. At least I knew what kind of music she does, and I'd heard of her. I know people that are relevant for the most part.
Sure.
I think
You've heard of them.
I'm giving you shit. I only knew like one song.
I'm sure there's bands that are out there that I would love, that I have completely missed out on, and in a couple years from now I'll be like, holy shit, that's amazing, and be like, oh, that's 3 years old, Ryan. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Promise, Nathaniel Rateliff and and the Night Sweats. It's a great band. If you haven't heard from them, you should go listen to them. But there was that Son of a Bitch song, Son of a Bitch, give me a drink. That song, right? I heard that 2 years late. And
That doesn't make you a
it was
bad
on
person.
a commercial though, and I was like, man, this is fucking awesome. I think I've heard this
Right.
before. And my wife told me, she's like, it was on a commercial like a year and a half ago.
Right.
Dumbass,
Yeah.
where you been? But it was a commercial. It was, you get a 15, 20 second
Sure,
blip of it.
sure.
And then when I actually heard the song and then listened to the rest of the album, I was like, these fucking guys are amazing. And I'm a day late and a dollar short. But it doesn't matter.
Who cares?
It's when
Yeah.
you find it, right?
Sure. So
Yeah.
maybe she just hasn't
But
found
they're
it
also
yet.
not a very mainstream band.
From personal
Right.
experience, I was like 15 before I heard a ton of music because I grew up in a religious household
Right.
where
You
we weren't
didn't
allowed
listen
to
to
listen to a lot of stuff.
Non-secular music.
Well, they wouldn't
Yeah.
let Satan in. So.
Well, I mean, and so there were things you would just inevitably hear in a commercial or
Yeah.
something or on a TV show or whatever. But like, there were and I sure as hell didn't know who the artist was.
Sure.
So maybe
didn't
she
have
comes
MTV.
from that perspective. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I doubt it.
I don't know a lot about her background. I don't know a lot about her story. I know that there is a story. I think that
Oh, she's got some demons or
No,
some just
no. Like
broken
her
home or
no. I think that
yeah,
her vibe, her
yeah.
the message and the music that she's sending, I think is in. And this is just me taking a shot in the dark here.
Mhm.
Sure.
To her, it's just about the music. It's not about her
Hey.
image. It's not about her look. It's not about anything other than the music.
Do you
Maybe
get the
that's
feeling that
It is about her image.
the image that we see now and the songs she sings about, the words and everything, is probably who she is?
Yes.
Like as a 13-year-old, she was that person,
right.
right?
And I
Before
think
she
you're
was
right.
famous.
I think that now it's about her image because now she has a manager. Now she has an A&R person who says, we're going to capitalize the fuck out of your pajama wearing ass. And
Right.
now everything you wear is either going to have a message on it and it's going to be fucking pajamas.
But I think
and
there
your,
are
and your hair is
certain-
never going to be one color for the rest of your
Yeah.
life.
Exactly.
You know?
there are certain artists, I'm trying to think of one offhand,
If you didn't care, she'd just have blonde, brown hair. Sorry.
that started out, as one totally different thing. I want to say Katy Perry was,
I was
maybe
just going
that
to say
way.
Katy
Yeah.
Perry. Yeah.
Like, whatever. She might have even been country or something. And then
Well, okay. No.
at
Let's
some
just
point,
talk about
she
Taylor
changed
Swift because she
Well, yeah.
started out country.
Now, I feel like a little bit of that was just sort of a natural progression. Like, even as country, she was kind of pop country.
Yeah, but that was
And then-
like the thing. Whenever she
Yeah.
came out, everybody was pop country.
Right.
Carrie,
but then when
Carrie
she went
Underwood's
pop,
country.
she was sort of country pop. And now,
She's
just
full-on pop.
Yeah. So I feel like it's sort of been a natural progression as opposed to like she used to be, how y'all doing out there? We're going to sing about hoedowns. And now she's like doing
Miley Cyrus.
rap or
Use
something.
Miley Cyrus.
Yes, exactly.
But she was doing the
she
hoedown
completely
showdown,
changed her
and now
image.
she's swinging naked from a wrecking ball.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's
Disingenuous.
where somebody says, hey, we're going to try something different. This isn't panning out going down this road. So let's do this instead and sell out to that. That I don't really like because that's not who you were. Now, maybe, everybody changes, but if you change naturally, then fine. But when you just try to change your image because a PR guy got involved, like,
Well,
no,
you change
fuck that.
or you change your musical style, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And then and you want to come out against capitalism. I'm taking a leap here.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then why did you go to mainstream pop if it was? I mean, why didn't you just keep making country? Because there's more money in pop music, honey. And no, there's no shame in that. I applaud you for it. And she's talented.
But own
and she's
it.
good. Yeah, but just
own
don't
it.
bullshit me. And don't be disingenuous. You're in it for a reason.
Right.
These artists are in it for a reason. And yes, they love the music. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they love the songwriting process.
There ain't one of us out there answering the bell every day that isn't interested in making the almighty
you
motherfucking
want to make
dollar.
more.
We've had that
Every one of us.
opportunity
Give
on
you
this
an extra-
podcast, but we turned it down because we are all about
We're all about the art.
the art. We're not going to change what we do. We've had millions
I
thrown
think
at
that
us.
there are people out there that are all about their craft. They're all about their art. That's why they're called starving artists.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back
because they're willing to go without because
Yeah.
of their
I
cause.
want to go back to Wolfgang Van Halen.
Okay, hold on. A&R, artists and repertoire.
There you go.
That's what that
That
stands
sounds
for.
about right.
I'm not sure that it applies to what they
What
actually
did I
do,
say?
but
Artists and recordings,
Recording, yeah.
repertoire. I think it's close.
similar. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, Wolfgang
idea.
Van Halen.
Wolfgang Van Halen.
Son
I
of
think. I
Eddie
mean,
Van Halen.
he's
Valerie Bertinelli.
Yeah, exactly what I'm making. He's the son of top 5 guitar players
Hands
of all
down.
time.
Hands down.
Easily top 5, right?
Hands
I think
down.
most would agree
and
with you, yeah.
Smoking hot babe from the late 70s, early 80s.
Well,
and she's held
let's
up pretty
not
well.
get Smoking hot.
I had a huge crush on Valerie
Okay,
Bertinelli.
Valerie
She was
Bertinelli.
very cute. but
Okay, wait a minute.
she
Wait
was
a minute.
no Farrah
What was the
Fawcett.
last episode?
No, you're right. She wasn't a...
Wait,
yeah.
what was the last episode
Of...
that his crush was?
Oh,
He's crushing on
I
who?
don't remember.
No.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Talia Shire.
Talia Shire.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So from
You're
a
going to
man,
put Talia
But I didn't
Shire
say
over,
she
Sorry.
over
Okay.
when it comes to fine
Yep.
Italian women,
Honestly,
Valerie
taking-
Bertinelli is greater than Talia Shire.
heads and tails above Talia Shire.
I could
Yeah.
maybe dispute that.
We're talking about fine
Okay,
Italian
you might
women.
be able to
think-
dispute
I
that,
think
but I
many
feel like this is one of those
red-blooded
things.
men-
Nope. I think that all of the red-blooded men would fucking disagree
yeah,
with you.
yeah, maybe not all.
Maybe. I'm
most.
not knocking Talia Shire. I just
Well, obviously you love Talia Shire. We've
No, you
already
aren't.
I'm
established
saying
that.
Valerie
Valerie
Bertinelli. I'm not
Bertinelli.
knocking her. I'm just saying.
Look, Eddie Van Halen
fine.
could have had any broad
Oh, yeah, sure.
in the world.
Coulda
for
had
sure.
me.
He could have had. You pick one. Go find the Christy
he coulda had
Brinkley's that.
Ryan.
Yeah.
I have. What
I'd
do
have
you know?
encouraged that.
You know? No.
Yeah, you're right.
But he chose Valerie Bertinelli
Yeah.
because she was
She's
a little
hot.
smoke show. She was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say smoke show. She was cute. She was adorable.
America's sweetheart.
She was America's
Yeah.
sweetheart. She was attractive. She had a great little rocking body. She was
The
just had
hair.
this great personality.
She had the
Yeah.
hair.
And the
Right.
show was One Day at a Time was, I mean, you loved it. I liked the fucking maintenance guy. What was his name?
Schneider.
Schneider. He was my favorite.
Everybody
but-
loved Schneider.
Yeah. But anyway, so
And his
you've got the
beast.
product.
I keep forgetting him.
You've got the product
Sorry.
of America's sweetheart, Valerie Bertinelli,
Yeah.
and one of the finest guitar players in the history of rock and roll.
Right.
Wolfgang's been sleeping on us. I think he should have. He's finally starting to reach his full potential, where he
Well,
can say
he's
things.
young.
And I mean, I think he's immensely talented. He plays bass in a band that he could take over for his dad. His dad has said Wolfie's as good as I am at playing guitar. He plays
Really?
bass because Eddie can't play bass.
Yeah.
That's it. And Alex plays drums, so Wolfie can't play drums. So, and they already got a Dave, and they actually I think they need a new Dave, but they're running out of options as far as lead singers go. But Wolfgang is an extremely talented musician.
Dave doesn't have chops anymore.
No, he can't hang.
I mean, I don't know that either one of you would disagree, and if you do, you're wrong. That David Lee Roth was probably and still could hold up, not current,
In his
as one of the
prime.
best frontmen
yeah.
ever.
And it was I think he was. I mean, you got your Mick Jaggers up there that are on the pinnacle, right?
I'm not saying he was
Freddie-
the best,
Freddie
but he
Mercury,
was
yeah.
one
Yeah.
of the
Right.
best. I think
sure.
he belongs in that
Yeah.
in that maybe not the top tier, but he's up there.
But there's guys like Mick and Freddie Mercury and what's his Aerosmith.
Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler. Those guys are at the pinnacle. Dave can't hang. Steven Tyler and
They
Mick,
all can
Mick's
hang.
75,
They're
80
still
years
doing
fucking
it.
old.
And
he's
they're still doing
crushing
it, right.
And if Freddie
So
was
that's-
around, he'd still be out there
Yes.
crushing it too.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying is that he can't hold up now,
Right.
But based on then, he was
But
amazing.
super talented and the way that, I mean, like I've been sitting here thinking about that. Hello, I can't do it. Hello, baby. That is an
That's Sammy
iconic.
Hagar.
That is Sammy. You're
Yeah.
right. What am I thinking of? That's what did Dave say at the beginning of 1984
Was it
album?
Hot for Teacher?
It was. You're right. It was Sammy. I'm all
He
fucked
did have
up.
a lot of spoken
He had a
word stuff,
thing
but-
where he kicked off the song. What the fuck was it? God damn it.
Hang on, I'm thinking.
Anyway, but no,
Yeah.
it's like to have that voice and to have
Right.
that iconic screams and the
Jumps.
Yeah. And just a lot of the one more thing coming up. You know,
Yeah.
there's that
right,
personality
just the
of
drop
like,
he was very talented. But we've seen him.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck did he say?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's gonna kill me because you're right. That was Sammy, but I'm a bigger Sammy fan than I am Dave too. But
I am too.
yeah,
No, as far as the music goes, the music that original Van Halen, like Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, Diver Down,
Women and Children First.
Women and Children First. Like you
1984.
You don't fucking say shit bad. Don't say shit bad.
Well,
However,
here's what you
the
can't say.
Van
bad.
Hagar days,
It was
Epic.
a different thing.
It was a
whole
completely
other
different
animal.
sound.
There
A
was
completely different sound.
meld between Eddie and Sam and the way that they
that
wrote music
wasn't
together.
there
That
with
was
David Lee Roth.
well, it was
Yeah.
it was a McCartney and Lennon type of partnership where they actually worked off each other. Dave wanted to just do covers. He was doing,
And he did well
He was
with
doing, Just a Gigolo, and he was doing
California
Happy
Girls.
Trails and California Girls, and
I
he
bought
was
that
happy
album.
with it.
I bought that
But
album.
it was
Dancing in the Street.
It was just the overall style of the personality. I mean, David Lee Roth would never sing Dreams.
No,
or whatever,
David Lee
right?
Roth was
I mean,
a
he just
showman.
couldn't-
He
yeah,
wanted to be
it was
seen. He wanted to
Dave-
flash.
And, hey, everybody!
Dave was
you
about
know,
Dave was about
girls.
sex and getting the girl and the sexy side
Now,
of things.
Sammy's got a lot of sex in his
Sammy
songs,
was
I'm
about
just saying.
love.
Sammy was about love, and
comes
sexy
walking
came
in
along
when
with
it's
it.
love.
But he's got like what was is it Blue and Black or something? It's about blue ball and shit. Like he's got a lot of
that's a Sammy solo song. But Finish What You Started, which is an OU2 song, is about an unfinished beach. That I mean,
right. But you're right. A lot of love, a lot of heartfelt,
Sammy's
which
just
I feel
real.
like opened up something in Eddie. It was like
Sammy's older than
these
our
are
dad.
songs that Eddie couldn't write before with David,
fantastic.
and he knew that. He's like, I got to keep writing party songs.
But you know who doesn't
with
look
Roth.
fantastic?
Dave looks like shit. Yeah.
He looks like a chick.
The most entertaining thing
I mean,
saw.
not even an attractive chick.
Most
Like, he looks like shit.
entertaining thing I saw Dave do in the past 10 years was that he was on, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. It become full circle with Jimmy Kimmel, and it was Van Halen, and it was Eddie and Alex and Wolfgang, and Dave's out there trying to do his kicks and probably pulled something, and he had a sword, a katana. And he's flipping this fucking
Seems
katana
dangerous.
around.
He cut himself.
And he cut himself on the fucking face. And he's bleeding like a stuck hog. And he's in the middle of this fucking show on live television.
And he's trying to be cool.
And so he had to walk off stage. And meanwhile, like, Eddie's like, all right, well, I guess I just got to keep doing it. And Alex is like, what the fuck's going on? And Dave's over there bleeding out on his fucking side. He comes back and with like a fucking towel on his head, finishes singing Hot for Teacher. It's like, what the fuck, Dave? Put down the sword.
Right.
You're 70. Just sing the fucking song. Honestly,
I don't think the voice is there anymore because whenever Sammy Hagar toured with Van Halen and David Lee Roth came back with them and they were out at Riverport, whatever the fuck you call that place.
I
was so excited. I was so excited. You know I was excited. And they opened, I sat there like this. What the fuck?
Really?
Yeah.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the point's like they sing Jump. What are you going to expect David Lee Roth to do?
Jump
He's
around
going
the
to jump
stage.
off the fucking drums and do a high split.
Do some kicks,
high karate, whatever.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything like that. He did a lot of kicks and jamming with the microphone stand and all that kind of stuff.
He's going to break
And
a
I'm
hip.
like, and then you were there.
I was with you. You got on my
I
shoulders
got on your
that night.
shoulders that night.
We might
Then
have been
Sammy
drunk.
comes out. We might have been a little bit drunk, but it was the perfect song for me to get on your shoulders because it was standing on top of the world.
You're right.
It was. And I was like, oh yeah!
Now, he's not much younger, right? I mean, Sammy's pretty old, too.
I think Sammy's older than
Sammy's
Dave.
older than Dave, I think.
shit.
Well, he was already an established
He was
artist.
in Montrose.
Yeah.
He had a solo
He
career.
had his own thing
older
going
than
on.
Dave, but he can still pretty
He can
much
do
it.
whatever
His
he
voice
wants
is
to
all
do.
still there. But Sam never did the jumps and shit like that off of. He never did the acrobatics that Dave did. But what Sam could do that Dave didn't is he could play the guitar, and his voice has held up.
Well, and
through
he
the
could
years.
write music.
And he could write music, and he was creative.
Yeah, he was creative.
Dave
whereas
didn't write much.
No.
You know.
And
No.
I feel like Sammy was probably
was a
smoking a lot of
performer.
weed while Dave was maybe doing rails of coke.
Right.
That's very possible.
Like
Yeah.
that'll ruin
Yeah.
your
So,
voice a lot
tequila and weed,
quicker. Yeah.
acid and coke.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not only
But,
that, but he's
So we've
probably...
established that Sammy Hagar is greater than David Lee Roth. Maybe not the book of music. The like you said, Diver Down, Women and Children First,
yeah.
Van Halen 2, Van Halen, 1984.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're forgetting one in there. But those albums are great,
Yeah.
iconic albums.
Yeah.
It's really hard
Fair
to hold a
Warning.
candle. Fair Warning, very good. 5150, OU 812, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge,
Yeah.
Balance.
They're not bad.
Oh my
it's
God.
just different.
That's a huge fucking catalog of music.
The Van Hagar era was, in my opinion, far more magnanimous.
Well, it was commercially successful more than the
Because
Van
you had
Halen
two
era.
great conglomerations come
Right.
together. You had two established, well-known, successful bands, musicians, whatever you want to call it, come together to create one. It's like Perfect and More Perfect had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it created...
I want to make a point.
Yeah, we're running out of time
And then
here.
we're at 20 minutes. How many minutes of outtakes do
You
we
have
have?
1.5
we had a
minutes
lot
left.
of outtakes.
Yeah.
No,
So
we got
like 10
we
minutes?
got time. It's fine.
So, you pumpkin yet?
I am a pumpkin.
So, the whole
It's
Billie
10:30.
Eilish thing that I said her name right. That
Yeah, he's been saying Elish all night long.
eyelash. So, but I just feel like that this is the cop out of that generation. Like, I don't need to know that. But I'm telling you, when I was 17 years old, it was 1992. In 1992, we go, let's see. Okay, let's do the math real quick here. Right now it's 2019. Van Halen was at its top, at its peak in like 1985, right?
85?
So, yeah, I would say 85. That was when 5150 came out. David Lee Roth just left. 84 was out, and 85 was 5150. So that's the peak.
Yep.
Okay, I think. Maybe it's 90.
I was going to say
so incredibly different too. If you think about the 1984 album and then OU812,
yeah.
It's like if you didn't know that it was
later. 5150
or 5150. I'm sorry.
I will say, in my opinion, the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge was their peak. Like that was
that's
right here, right
that's
now.
That's 91 or whatever. Let's call it 1990.
Okay.
Might be my favorite.
Let's call it 89 because the math is easier than
well,
so.
Diver Down.
99,
Diver Down's my favorite.
09, 19. That's 30 years ago. So 30. If I'm 17 today, 30 years ago, what was popular? You should know Van Halen, right?
Yeah.
So at 17 years old, 1992, 30 years ago from that is 1962. Probably the top artist at that time was an Elvis Presley.
Beatles.
Was the Beatles were a little later, 64 when they hit the fucking, the
so Elvis and you got the.
But it was Buddy Holly and it was
people.
Yeah, it was the origins of rock and roll. It was Chuck Berry. It was
Richie Valens.
It was Richie Valens. It was
Big Bopper.
all of these founders of
he was
rock
the
and
original
roll.
Hello Baby.
It was Johnny Cash. It was Jerry Lee Lewis. It was all these guys, right? So in 1992, I knew about those people. I knew those artists. I was aware.
Yeah, but
of
we
those
had
things.
people that influenced us.
Fine. So, but also, I'm not going to be a musician and go out there and act like I'm this
I get what you're
talented
saying.
person and then say, well, I don't need to know about those. Fuck you.
I understand that. Yeah, that's disrespect.
And furthermore, like in 1992, I don't know if Chuck Berry or the Big Bopper or Buddy Holly or Richie Valens,
they were dead.
Well, they were all dead, but I don't know if they were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But the fucking Van Halen and Sammy Hagar as an individual are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you're going to be a fucking musician on the AMAs, God damn it, know your fucking heritage. I don't give a shit if
disagreeing.
look, if you put give me a rapper, Snoop Dogg.
Ooh, Snoop.
You put let's see. So again, we'll go back to 1992 again. Too Short. Let's go
Two
with
Live Crew.
Two Live Crew, right? I mean NWA. That's the right era, right? Does she know about them?
I don't know.
I'll bet you she does.
I don't know.
And so the argument would be that, well, why do you know about them and not these other ones? Well,
where did her influence
it's
come
just
from,
her awareness. But don't use the excuse of, well, she's only 17, she shouldn't have to.
I don't
Fuck
disagree.
that.
Right. If you're going to be in this industry and you're going to have the success that you're having, maybe do a little bit of homework and maybe you could potentially find some inspiration from some other place. So
to say that I don't need that inspiration,
did
or that
she
I don't,
say that?
No. But just to kind of dismiss it, right?
I don't know that
she
it
didn't
was-
say anything. Here's the shitty thing about Eyelash is that she's the one taking the heat. She didn't say shit.
No, all she said was I don't know.
Yeah, and she's taken a lot of heat for this. This is why I don't have anything against her.
Yeah.
I have something against the people who say it's okay that she doesn't know this because she's only 17. Bullshit. She should know that. And go if you're a musician and you want to and you want to claim to be operating at your highest possible level,
Which she probably isn't yet.
No, you should probably know about those that came before you in all genres. You should know country. You should know Johnny Cash. You should know Loretta
music.
Lynn. You should know Bach and Beethoven. You should know all of these musicians. You should know Jerry Lee Lewis and Johnny Cash and Elvis
you never
Presley
know where your
and the Beatles
inspiration
and
will
Van
come
Halen
from.
and Metallica and Journey, Queen.
I love Journey.
I mean, how far do we have to? REM,
Green Day.
So so. You should know all those things.
You too, in excess.
If you don't, then you're then.
But to say
I don't think
you should have heard Van Halen. Like
I've said a lot more than just Van Halen.
Right.
But I'm saying
or
that
REM.
she should have a very well-rounded musical.
Would you be surprised if Chuck had never heard REM?
If Charlie,
but Chuck's not a musician.
if Charlie was
being a
writing music
musician-
and breaking out into the world as big as she did, I would like to think that someone would be influencing him in the right way to
But it
have
isn't a rock
broad
band.
knowledge.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think so. A teenager right now who's into hip hop, not even hip hop, techno.
I don't know what I call it. Yeah,
pop,
techno
whatever.
pop.
What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
I
We're
don't
talking
know.
about Eilish, or are we talking about
Billie
okay.
Eilish.
Okay.
Like that person, that group of people is not listening to REM and Van Halen. There's probably
I'm
only
not saying
one
they should.
station
I'm saying that
in their
she should.
city that plays Van Halen.
The problem is that
Why
Jimmy.
should she? Why should
Because
she?
she should know who came before her.
But how could she? She's a teenager
Nah.
who doesn't listen to K-She.
How did
and
John Lennon and Paul
Jump is only
McCartney
on-
know about Chuck Berry? How did they know about Muddy Waters? How did they know about all these great musicians that came before
They did
them?
their research.
But they were into rock and pop and whatever in the blues, and they liked Elvis.
I would
She's
like to
into
know.
techno.
I
What
would
make
like
her
to
listen
know
to
who
Van
her
Halen?
inspiration is.
Yeah,
like,
that's
would,
what I'm saying.
Like, is
That's
it
what I was
Marshmallow?
trying to
like,
say.
where does
That's
her
where
inspiration
the
come
question
from?
that
It's probably
Jimmy-
9 Inch Nails or something. You know,
Oh
it's
my God.
well,
Yeah,
it's
you're right, not
industrial
wrong. Yeah.
techno.
And Nine Inch Nails isn't terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
but I think that Jimmy Kimmel should have asked, like, who's your influence? Maybe he did.
Yeah,
We've
I
never
don't
seen
know.
the fucking
We need to
interview.
watch
Maybe
the
I know.
interview. Yeah, I guess I'm just
Anyway.
not so surprised, or the people
I don't
that
know that
support her
anybody's-
by saying like, "Why should she know that?" I'm like,
No,
yeah,
I don't
mean,
think that anybody's
I get it.
surprised. I think that by saying by some of the people saying it in such a dismissive way, that's
Well,
irritating.
maybe. Yeah.
You know, like
Look, I want to be clear on something. I've heard 2 songs that you played. I think she's great. I have nothing against her.
I love her voice.
My problem is not with her. It's with, because again, she's barely said anything. it's with all the people out there saying, well, she shouldn't have to. Nah, I think that you should.
I agree with those people. I disagree with you.
You don't think that
you don't
should
think
know?
she should have a broad knowledge?
I mean, ideally, sure, but she's influenced by what she's
I don't think
influenced
she
by. I mean,
has to
everybody's
know.
got
I
their
think
own
that it would
story.
behoove her to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I got to go
she's
watch the
doing
video.
fine
It
without
seemed to
Van
me.
Halen.
So
It seemed to
far.
me that
So far,
it seemed to me that she was a bit dismissive. Like who? And it's like, hey,
Again,
he's
I didn't
up.
see it.
He's up. That's like a filmmaker, an upcoming
I mean,
filmmaker saying talking shit
Scorsese
about
who?
Scorsese.
You said a band tonight that I was like, I don't know who you're talking about.
Nathaniel Rateliff.
No, before that, it was some 80s. I don't remember. I don't remember.
Kajagoogoo?
Yeah.
Kajagoogoo,
I'm like,
you've heard the song.
I've heard the song, but if you said,
Nah.
so what do you think of Kajagoogoo? I'd be like, who? I would say exactly what Billie Eilish said. Who?
Well, they had they
that-
had one hit.
Okay.
Van Halen
well,
had
you're right.
multiple #1 albums.
Right. I mean, it's not the same. I'm just saying I grew up, and by the time I was 15, 16, there were a ton of famous bands. I had no idea who they were.
Here's
Yeah, but you kind of lived a unique little
you
life.
do not like
Everybody lives a different life.
you do not like country music.
Correct.
Do you know who George Strait is?
I couldn't tell you a
heard
song
of
by
him?
George Strait. I've heard the name.
Man, Amarillo by Morning is a great one to start with.
Okay. I'll get right on that.
Our
Do you know-
oceanfront property
Hey,
in
do
Alabama.
you know who Garth Brooks is?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have an appreciation for him and his music?
Yeah.
Do you like Dolly Parton?
Do not say anything other than fucking yes.
I do like Dolly Parton.
Do you know what her middle name is?
Ooh, no.
I do.
What is
Miss.
it?
It's Rebecca.
Oh, shit.
So we're basically
There you
related.
go. You're pretty much the same. Yeah.
Why doesn't Dolly Parton have any children?
She can.
Is that fact? She's
Really?
married though. Been married to the same
Oh,
fella.
yeah. mhm.
Same fella
She has
for a
a
long
new
The same
show or
fella who
something
flirted with Jolene, who was a bank teller, which is why she wrote the song.
How about that? Mm-hmm. No, I think they just
That
did a special.
that can't be the only song I know by her, but that's obviously the
9 to
song I
5.
know by her. Oh yeah, 9 to 5. Okay, I was gonna say there's others, but Jolene
and
is like
the
one I know.
with Kenny Rogers, Islands in the
Islands
Stream.
in the Stream. God,
Oh,
that's
that's
a great
her.
song.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
She's just about done sung everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's pretty damn good.
I like her. I love her.
Heartstrings is the name of the show. It's on Netflix.
Is that right?
What's
Yeah.
the story? What is the show?
So it's her music.
Okay.
It's short, little. Like the first one was Jolene,
Yeah.
and so it was like a little drama based on
that song?
that song, and it was dramatized a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Juliana Hough played Jolene.
Okay.
If you know,
I would
the
check that out.
most men would.
They did.
now.
I think
Well,
it was,
okay, I was going to ask that. Let's talk about. We got to wrap this up quick, but
Mm-hmm.
Dolly Parton and her image, right? She's obviously very well endowed.
Mm-hmm.
I think even in her earlier years, she probably had a lot of cleavage showing. I think now she's kind of doing the
Actually-
turtleneck thing going
Actually,
on.
I don't think she ever really put a lot of cleavage on. She always had a big bust, and she put
Okay.
them.
And she has a tiny
She
waist.
Yeah.
wore tight-fitting clothes, but I don't think she ever put a lot of
Okay,
cleavage
I guess
out
I
there.
felt like she did, but
They were just really big boobs, and they were the first really big boobs that
Yeah.
we all like.
But don't
that
you
was
think
her
that's weird?
persona,
Like she
yeah.
doesn't have a sexy vixen persona.
She doesn't have to.
She
She's
seems
got the
like this
boobs.
sweet. I'm assuming they're fake, right?
No.
I
You think that's
maybe
real?
they're
well,
I don't
they've
know.
modified
been
at this point.
augmented,
Okay.
but no, that was all her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's like this strange, like clearly putting that out there as like a sexy thing, but that's not who she doesn't seem to be.
I think it's just
and I think
part
that's
of the side effects of what she is.
That just goes to show you that that's not her. That's how she was built.
Okay.
So she just worked with what she had.
It always seemed built to me.
And she did have kind of not. I think that was part of what her appeal was. Is that she was out to prove to everybody that she just wasn't some floozy with big boobs. That she was more than that. The movie 9 to 5 is the edification of that, right?
Here's one of her earliest pictures.
And she was stunning.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, stunning.
Absolutely gorgeous. But she wasn't showing her boobies.
Yeah. But she is a really great person. So I think it was the CMAs like the night before, or maybe it was the hour before, but there was something on that we happened to stumble upon. And it was about, I think it was the night before the CMAs. Or maybe it was the AMAs, whatever. And she, it was an interview with her on whatever channel it was, and they just did a whole workup on her, like, well, how good of a person she is, what she did for Pigeon Forge after the fires, what she did to help all the people that
what she
that
did,
lived
like
around.
all the time. What she does,
But
she's just an awesome person.
The biggest thing that she has done that I think is, I didn't know about this, is that she buys books. She is one of the biggest purchasers of children's books in the country, and she sends them to these underprivileged smaller schools, and then she goes around to these schools
And she reads
to these kids. It's fucking stellar.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. I watch everything about her.
Yeah, she's amazing, and then plus the fact that she writes all these songs.
Right. Well, so the next one, so
cleavage.
you've got. Let me see.
There's some cleavage there, sure enough.
That's
but
that's the
not
Dolly Parton I
gnarly
grew
cleavage.
up on.
That's just boobage.
Yeah. How many pictures did you go through to find that one with cleavage?
I typed, that's the first picture
typed
on
in Dolly Parton cleavage.
No, 1980s. Dolly Parton 1980s, literally the first picture. Her boobs are hanging out. I'm not
really hanging out.
Well,
She wasn't skanky. They're not hanging
That's
out.
kind of skanky.
She's got a G cup. What do you want her to fucking do
I'm
with
just
them?
saying.
They got to go somewhere.
She's not making that not part of her image, is what I'm saying.
No, she worked with what she had and said, fine, put them up and out there. She choking on them.
Yeah, I think it's just another part of her.
Well, and it is her image. You got to roll with it. She's
it's no different than Sammy Hagar wearing a yellow suit to the VMA Awards in 1990 something.
Right.
I mean,
I just always looked at it as like the term sex sells, right? So there's lots of women who are dressing skimpy or whatever, right? And that's kind of their image. And that was, to me, her image, yet in no other way. Like, she wasn't walking sexy or talking sexy or acting. It was like the only thing was big boobs and cleavage and tight dresses.
Let me, and I don't mean this,
which is fine.
I think she'd probably say something along the lines of, "Well, honey, if sex sells, then I guess I'm selling it."
Right.
I think that's also, and don't take this the wrong way, because I think I had the same feeling. That's a very schoolyard perception of Dolly Parton.
God, she's gorgeous.
And that was that was that was what we all talked about in the 80s whenever we're on the playground, like, hey, Dolly Parton, big boobs, that's all we thought about, because we didn't appreciate the music, we didn't appreciate what she was doing. But in reality, now we can reflect on the fact that not only has she been relevant since the 60s and had hits in the 60s
or road
70s
hits.
80s 90s, and didn't record a hit, but she wrote Whitney Houston, that song that she originally recorded, the
I Will Always
Bodyguard,
Love You.
And then in 2000 she finally hits this kind of resurgence. She had a couple songs, I think, and
she did, and then she wrote for Celine Dion,
right? And now she's at the point in her career where people are just reflecting on, holy shit, this bitch has been relevant since the 1960s.
Yep.
And based on,
and she's adorable.
And she wrote her own shit. That's the most important thing. Presley,
she can play a guitar.
Elvis Presley didn't write a single fucking song. Look it up.
I know you're right. I don't care.
I mean, not to take anything away from Elvis Presley.
Yeah, no, I care. It matters to me.
But he didn't write any fucking music. He performed music.
Which I appreciate that people like Taylor Swift does write her own songs.
Sure.
People,
I got mad respect for the artists that actually write their own music, but I will not take away the fact that Elvis Presley could perform the fuck out of anybody else's music.
Yeah, and he was a very talented
and he
musician
was a beautiful,
and entertainer.
Beautiful man.
But I respect someone like Dolly, who not only can write it, can record it,
can
perform
play
it live,
yes.
and can sell it over and over again. Willie Nelson is another prime example.
Well, and she can
I feel
play.
like Willie uses his sex appeal too. Though.
Yeah, absolutely. His tits are what's putting it out there. Yeah,
it's those braids that do it for me.
He's not doing well health-wise.
I know. Let's not talk about that.
It's sad. It's a sad time.
All right, we need to wrap it up.
Luckily,
you've seen him in concert.
I have seen him in concert with my father. There's also a young man, Lucas Nelson, who sounds just like his fucking father, and it's
that
amazing.
Song, the two of them together.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No, it's great, and it's like it's a shame that we're seeing Willie's. You know, he was on the CMAs and he sang, and it was bad, and it wasn't his. Obviously, he should be done. He should just go away quietly into the darkness.
I feel like he just doesn't feel well. He'll be all right.
No, I think he's really sick, but.
Yeah, what's he got going on?
He's also fucking 80 or something like that, in his 80s. He's old. But the beauty of it is that his son can pick up that mantle and say, like, here, I'm going to sing all my dad's songs, and I'm going to sound really fucking close to what they sound like. And I'm going to write some new shit based on my time with my old man.
Apparently Lucas sounds just like him, and he's got chops, and he can play guitar, but there's another son, apparently, that is an incredibly insane guitar player.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what his name is.
I can't either, but... I think it's Jeremiah.
That might be it.
But Lucas is also... Willie was in an interview and said that Lucas Nelson is a better guitar player than Willie was.
Yes. Did you know
I don't know about Jeremiah, but Jeremiah can't sing.
Did you... Right.
We're going with it as his name. It may not be his name, but...
Other one. Chubby. Lucas Nelson was one of the music directors for the movie with Lady Gaga and Bradley.
Yeah.
And he also was, like, you saw him in the movie. He was in the band.
Yeah.
Right, I heard that.
Now,
I still haven't seen that movie.
I haven't either. Star is Born. Willie tells a story about sleeping on his ranch in Texas and where Austin or wherever he was. And he has a lot of illegitimate children. Willie had some fun in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
It's a different time.
Right. So, and he says I forget where he was telling the story to, but he goes, well, I was sleeping out in the yard, and and he just decided he was going to sleep in the fucking yard. And he's sleeping like near the sidewalk in his front yard of his ranch. And he wakes up, and there's a young man standing over him. I don't think it was Lucas. I don't know who it was. But a young man standing over him, and he opens his eyes and says, oh, hey, son. All right. Hey, buddy. How you doing? And he goes, yeah, hey, Willie, I think you're my dad. Whoa. And he stands up. He's like, all right, let's go get some coffee and talk about this.
Yep.
And they walked in the house, and he was. I mean, it's a fact that the mama told the boy the right story, and Willie was like, well, that sounds about right. And but good for him that I don't know how many kids he's got. But he's a
stand-up guy.
He seems to own up to it. Like, yep, all right, I got you.
Sure, sure.
And the fact that it's all about family. It's always, but Willie Nelson, we've come full circle with Van Halen and Willie Nelson. But with Willie Nelson, the one show that I saw with him is Willie Nelson and Family is the name of the show. And his sister is still playing the piano.
Yep.
And it's his family out there. And a lot of them are just
band
members.
He's got daughters that play in the band.
But it's a family show. And they're just out there to entertain and they're having fun. And that's you don't find that very often.
Right.
You don't see shows like that where they really bring everybody into it and just have fun.
Yeah, the Mandrell sisters sure didn't last long.
Yeah, what happened to them? Name another one other than Barbara Mandrell. Do you remember the Mandrell sisters?
I mean, I know who you're talking about, and I can picture them, but I couldn't tell you two songs.
I don't either. I couldn't
tell you one song.
Do you know?
Audrey Mandrell?
I don't know.
There was a blonde one that was really pretty.
If you're a member of the Mandrell Sisters fan club, let us know.
Show.
At Load This Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Send us an email, loadthispodcast@gmail.com, or check us out on YouTube. Get a load of this podcast. Hopefully you're there right now and you can hit the subscribe button.
Let us know where you weigh in on the Billie Eilish Van Halen question. Who's your favorite Van Halen frontman? The answer is not Gary Cherone.
It might be.
I mean, it could be, but you'd be wrong, as you guys like to say. I liked a couple of those. I love Gary Cherone in Extreme. I don't like him in Van Halen.
Yeah.
But Erlene and Louise.
Okay.
Now look at that.
I say Audrey.
Yeah.
How the fuck did I come up with that?
Let us know your favorite Van Halen album.
Favorite Van Halen frontman? You can't pick one.
I think
I can.
I think there's a very
I
clear.
honestly never really liked Dave all that much.
You are a David Lee Roth person.
You didn't like original Van Halen music. You didn't start listening to it until
it's an age thing. It really is. I know we're only 3 years apart, but it's very much an age thing. You are a David Lee Roth person.
I'm an OG Van Halen girl.
And I love David Lee Roth, the era, but I prefer Sammy Hagar. And it's
I like both. I can't say.
I do too, but you prefer one over the other.
For me, it's I like the Roth era songs, but his personality just like grates on me. I just it really
if you
just
sit back and
bothers
you think
me.
about the way that we used to listen to it, you put an album on, you put a tape in, you weren't looking at the person.
Right.
Every now and then you'd catch a video, but for the most part, you were just sitting there listening to the music.
Videos where it's at, man. That's what needs to come back. With next time on Dave TV. What was that? What that was his solo shit.
That was
wasn't
his solo album.
Eat
Yeah.
'Em and Smile was the name of the album. What was the name of the song? Was it California Girls? I think it was Dave TV.
That was when he was wearing the hat and the white gloves. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, so he couldn't write a song to save his life, which everything he did was a cover. But whatever. Tobacco Road was a cover.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many hits he had from that album, but California Girls was one.
Diver Down had a lot of covers on it.
Yeah, it did.
And that was because he had a say in it.
Right.
I mean.
But the first two, and Women and Children first, and they were good. I mean, there's a lot of original, but it was Eddie.
1984 was pretty badass.
84 was bad. Was there a cover on 84? There had to have been.
Why?
Maybe
had to be at least one.
Let's find out.
What was Dancing in the Streets on? Was that on Diver Down?
I feel like there was an album where Eddie put his foot down and said, "We're not doing covers." That might have been 84, and then that was the end of the era.
Yeah. But look what they did in 1984. Yeah. Look what they put together.
Yeah.
What are you looking up there?
We gotta stop recording.
We got Britannica
Just
over
stop
here.
recording.
I will. Okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing and downloading and sticking with us.
Is killing
I know.
Me. I don't
You'll find out next time
on Dave TV.
All right. Until then, I'm Jared.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Rebecca.
And this is Half Loaded.
Be a corn nut.
Okay.